You guys, this is crazy. Never in my life did I want to do a show that put me on camera 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day, 5 minutes a day. But sometimes God answers prayers in strange and mysterious ways. So happy Monday, happy August, happy baseball trade deadline day, and happy launch day for All In with Amy Lawrence. I'll be taking your bets. Just kidding. I don't actually do that, but proverbial, almost like you're playing poker with your family, those kinds of bets. So, how many chips are you going to put in the center of the table that would indicate you think I'll screw up and say after hours with Amy Lawrence sometime in the first hour? It might actually happen. But welcome inside the new studio. Again, all new. Everything's new. The backdrop, the shelves, the photos. I'll walk through some of this, but it's a few of my favorite things to make me feel more comfortable on first day of All In with Amy Lawrence. Also, against my better judgment, and this is because my dog Flower is crazy, but against my better judgment, she's still here inside the studio, which is actually a small room, a 6x8 room. It's cozy. We put a bunch of pieces of furniture in here, as well as some rugs down and decorated so it absorbs the sound. I wouldn't call it soundproof, but I would say that it's got a good audio quality to start. But it's not just audio, of course, it's also video. And that is the big challenge for me. So thank you for joining us on this first day of All In with Amy Lawrence. Before I go any further and start talking about sports or even what this process has been like to get to this point, I have to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to so many of you who've reached out to encourage me and to share your enthusiasm, your excitement that I'm back. As though I died or something. You know, I've been around for the last year and a half. It's not like I disappeared, but I will say the last year and a half has been a different phase in my career. So doing the SiriusXM shows, which I will continue on Mad Dog Radio and SiriusXM NFL Radio when they call, if it fits the schedule. Doing some local Houston radio now that we live in the Houston area. Still doing work for Westwood One, still an adjunct professor at Syracuse University. So keeping all of my other jobs and hats. But when this opportunity came along, it was really too good to pass up. Again, very much outside my comfort zone. Not ever thinking that I wanted to be on camera for a couple hours a day. Even right now, not even sure if I can look away at my notes or look at my dog or, I don't know, make funny gestures. I'm Italian. I talk with my hands. So the whole process is very new. But I will say that after long conversations with Corey, who is the owner and manager of Rogue Media Network, and Stephanie, national sales manager, someone that you should get to know if you want to be part of the show, sponsor the show, be a partner, corporate partner on the show. She's great, brand new friend, and I'm so thankful for her. Zach, who is producing the show, and you had a chance to see him in the live video, and he'll join us for Ask Amy Anything when we bring that back. And Mike, who's the creative director, and Andrea, who's the social media maverick. So many different people welcoming me to the team. And also one more huge thank you to John Morris, who's the longtime voice of the Baylor Bears, both football and men's basketball, the director of broadcasting at Baylor, making an appearance on his show at his invitation in April is how this whole process got started. So I will share more about that. But I've told John a bunch of times, he's got his own show on 365 Sports, and I've told him a ton how grateful I am to him that he invited me on his show and believed in me, and that Rogue Media Network is giving me this opportunity. So lots of thank yous, lots of emotions as I start something new, lots of fear about the camera and what happens if I look this way or look that way, or what if, I don't know, something's hanging out of my nose, or even worse, what if I need to get some coffee and I grab it and I spill it and it goes everywhere while it's live on camera? And did you also know our computers and our phones spy on us? So there's that too. I got to be careful to shut the camera. Actually, I can do it. Here, let me try. I'm not going to drop the camera this time. Oh, no, see, that's great. That's a perfect. This is what I want to do. I want to broadcast without video. No, I'm just kidding. I don't. I actually don't want to broadcast without video. I know, again, this is new step and a good push outside of my comfort zone because the industry is evolving, sports talk industry. So Corey, my new boss, has said to me, it's not radio anymore. It's not audio anymore. Call it a show, but it's not radio. So you got to get used to the fact that you're on camera and that it's a new show and a new wave in the industry. So many of my colleagues have already made this jump. They've done this. They're comfortable in the space with the camera. But even as I mark 30 years in this industry, I know I'm so old, so old. But yes, 30 years ago this summer, I began my professional career in actually at the time it was news radio, but my professional career in radio. And so it's good for me to try something new and to stretch some new muscles. I can't promise you it's going to be smooth. In fact, Zach and I are talking before the show, and we were both expressing, I wouldn't say concern, but just expressing this idea and opinion that the first week might have some kinks that we have to work out. And also, I feel like if I take the camera and show you all things, the whole place could blow up. So I won't. But I will count for you while we're sitting here. I have one cord on my mic. This is my baby. It's my Shure microphone. It's a professional mic. It makes me sound so much better. Well, even better than my regular voice, this mic. Now it's not AI, it's a real mic, but it's tremendous. So there's a cord on the mic. There is a cord for the camera. As you know, of course, the camera has to be plugged into a port on my laptop. The laptop is plugged in with a power cord because it's an older laptop and the StreamYard and the YouTube live that sucks power. Okay, so there's 3 cords right there. Because my camera, because the camera and the microphone have to be plugged in and the mouse has to be plugged in. So I have a cordless mouse, but it does need a USB port. I ran out of ports on my old laptop. So I have what's called I don't really like this word, and I don't know who came up with this word. It makes me feel uncomfortable, okay? It seems a little appropriate. But someone decided that this little piece of equipment, it's about the size of, it's maybe an inch and a half across. It's a disc, but it has ports on it. It's called a dongle. Who named it that? I don't understand. It's just me being weird that I don't like the word. But it's a dongle, so it's plugged into my laptop, the last port. That's the last remaining port. And there are 2 more cords plugged into that, including an Ethernet cord. And I'm a little bit nervous that if I move, I might pull that out or knock the cord out of the wall. Who knows? That's why the dog shouldn't be in here, because when Flower gets very excited, I'm gonna turn around and check on her. Oh, she's still curled up in the corner. Like I said, at the risk of dropping the camera or tripping over something, I really can't get up, but she's in the corner. She gets very excited. She's a part Belgian Malinois, part Aussie cattle dog mix, which if you know those breeds, you know they have a ton of energy. And so at some point, she will wake up from this morning nap and she will decide, I need some exercise or I need to run around and hop like a kangaroo. And she does that too. So this is against my better judgment, but Flower is in the room with me too. So just again, wanted to say thank you. You all are so in on this. You're all in with Amy Lawrence. You've been so excited about the fact that we have a daily time slot now where we can connect again. And yes, it will be a lot of sports, of course, because that's my wheelhouse and that's what I've done for the better part of 30 years. But it's not just going to be sports, because what I found, especially going back to 2020, is that connection with people and relating to people and being as authentic and genuine as I can is what causes people to come back. And it's not just about the numbers, the views, the likes, the clicks, the subs, as the cool people call them. It's not just about subscriptions. I don't do this simply because I love talking sports or because I have 30 years of experience. I'm going to keep saying that, and you're going to keep wondering, how old is she anyway? She's old. So it's not just because this is what I love, and it is. I've had a passion for sports talk. I've had a passion for a business that I didn't even understand, going all the way back to 16 years old. It's funny because I mentor a lot of young women, some young guys too, including a current, well, he just graduated from Syracuse, but one of my most recent class members, students. And I tell them a lot. It's a process. You don't have to know exactly what you want to do today, and where you are today may be very different from where you are 10 years ago, but the process really requires jumping in, figuring out what you're good at, figuring out what you suck at. I'm not good at sales. I don't take rejection well. Stephanie, our national sales manager, she is a bulldog. She can manage all of that. But if people tell me no, I get insecure and get teary, and I'm not good at rejection. And so sales was never going to be my thing. And there are other aspects of this business that I'm not great at. I had to learn how to promote myself. I had to learn social media because it wasn't around 30 years ago when I started in this business. But what I do know is that I'm very blessed because since 16 years old, I've known exactly what I wanted to do. I've known that this was the road I wanted to travel. And it's not a linear path. It has taken a zillion twists and turns. My last job was the best career move I ever made. And I'm so grateful still for the 13 hours of After Hours with Amy Lawrence on what was originally CBS Sports Radio. But this is something new, and it's also fantastic. And I'm really excited about the chance to connect with you all again from 11 to 1 weekdays, Eastern time. So 10 o'clock for me. And that's something else, even as I'm adjusting the camera. Zach and I are going to figure this out as we go, but I want you to be able to see what's behind me, but also, all right, seriously, maybe if I just adjust the camera and not my laptop. All right, let's try that. Oh, now see, that was so much easier. You don't see much of me. Whatever. But the whole process of starting a new routine, because I, for 20 years, have done overnights and late nights. So I woke up at 7:15. I had a piece of toast and peanut butter. I got my coffee. I folded clothes because I needed something to do to help me wake up. Water flowers, take the dogs for a walk. Those may all be parts of the routine. But just as you are jumping in, and you're joining us for this launch and deciding if this works for you, if it's live, or if you want to listen and watch on demand. I know I'm doing the same thing. But thank you, because I know many of you are really excited. And whether or not you watch or listen live does not matter to me. I want it to be on your schedule. That is one of the benefits of digital. It's one of the benefits of having all of the fun tools that we have now on the internet, is the fact that you can listen and watch whenever you like. My mom had two things to say. Hi, Mom. I think Mom is probably watching. Mom had two things to say after my live broadcast. One of them was, can you not fidget so much and adjust your shirt or fix your hair? But I don't sit still well. That's not a skill that I have. Ask my husband. I do not ride as a passenger with any kind of grace. I don't do well just sitting still. When we have people over the house, I need to be washing dishes or moving around. So I'm just not real comfortable being at rest, if that makes sense. I'm fast twitch, right? So I'm not comfortable just sitting there or even staring at a camera, but I'm going to get used to it. So I generally move around a bunch, which is why I invested in a camera that has this AI motion detection. I don't even know how to explain it better than that, other than it's technology that keeps you in focus even as you move around. And there are a lot of fun tools on it that I'll get used to. And so Mom said, just, try not to move around so much, fix your hair and adjust your shirt and all that jazz. So I'm trying, Mom. And the other thing she said to me last night is, Mike's her husband, Mike told me I don't need a subscription to watch, right? No, you do not. And I get it. When you hear subscription these days, you think streaming, you think I got to pay a monthly fee, you think I got to sign up for something else. And the cool thing about YouTube, which is where all of our broadcasts will originate, is that you do not have to even have your own account. Now, I would love it if you would subscribe, Mom. I would love it if you would set up an account and we can see you add to our subs. as the cool people call them. When I think sub, I think food. Food is my love language. I will not eat. That's a huge change. Oh my gosh, that is a huge change because there were so many times during the overnights where, did you know, talking burns calories and makes me hungry, where I would need to eat during breaks, but I refuse to eat on camera. And until Zach, the esteemed producer of All In with Amy Lawrence, until Zach assures me that there's absolutely no way people are watching me during commercial breaks, I don't think I'm going to risk it. Take a breath, Amy, right? Take a breath. Okay, so that's the deal. It's All In with Amy Lawrence. You can be all in live on YouTube and Rogue Media Network, or we've got a variety of apps. There's a new streaming app after the fact, disseminated on our podcast platforms like Spotify, like Apple. You can find my social. We're going to get really good. See at the bottom of the screen here, you see our logo, which is amazing. Mike put together the logo. Oh, Zach. That was impressive. Zach pops up the various ways that you can find us on social media. And I just got to tell you, because I never used Instagram or TikTok prior to this, that's also another change. It's new, but the team at Rogue Media, they've encouraged me and they've helped me to open up new social media accounts. And so that's where you can find us. I finally given in and I call it X now instead of Twix or Twitter. Fine. Actually, X is easier to put up on a screen. So we went with X, but all the various ways that you can find us on social. Now we will have guests here on the show, and I'm really excited about a couple of guests who will join us this week. Okay. So we're not going to go heavy with the production and the guests and the music and all that jazz in this first week. We're trying to work out camera and making sure that Amy doesn't kick a cord and knock herself off the air in the first hour that we're here doing this. We do want you to know that you can comment. Right, Zach? Yes, I know that you can comment, but I don't know how. For those of you who are more YouTube savvy, I'm assuming that it's through the YouTube mechanism. Zach, help.
Yeah, no, it's if you're watching us live on YouTube, it will pop up. We have an area where the comments that we can see and we can add them there. Yes. So that is, I'm looking forward to hopefully using them for Ask Amy Anything and stuff like that too. We'll be able to use the comments that they
give it. We're bringing you back.
We've had a good amount so far. That's all I'm saying.
Oh no. Okay. I don't think I want to know. But so Zach is going to put those on the bottom as well. So I know we have that ability too, right? With comments to throw them up there from YouTube, which is awesome. And then also,
so they look like that.
Oh, good morning. Yay. So happy to have you with us. The other thing that people have keep asking me, Zach, is can you take calls on YouTube? Okay, so we cannot. And there's a couple reasons, right? Something that I learned, not just in radio, but about the internet, there's no dump button.
No.
And there's no delay. So anything that you would say, let's just pretend that there is a way that you can call in. Or if we were really dumb and we really wanted to be crazy, we would allow you to join the YouTube broadcast, right? You could be up on screen. Sorry, I love you, but that's not going to happen. So you really can't call in. But even if you could join the show live, the issue is you could drop choice words or be inappropriate, and we would not be able to do anything about it. And as 30 years in this business have taught me as a female in sports talk, that is a bad idea. Not to have a filter or a dump button or a delay of any sort. And just so you know, all of your favorite games these days are on delay, whether it's a 10-second or 15-second delay on TV. Why? Well, because sometimes there are athletes on the court or near the microphone on the field, and they say words that probably aren't meant to be disseminated publicly over the air. That FCC, it can be so tricky. Yeah.
But,
so what do we tell people, Zach? We tell them to go to the YouTube channel, right? If they're watching.
Yes. If you're watching live right now, go to the YouTube channel and you can comment there, and we see them all pop up, and I'll be able to populate them in and throw them in while we're commenting. I'll try to keep them obviously on topic for the most part, but we'll still be able to use them for like the Ask Amy Anything segments or just anything you want to share with us. But I'll have them there, and then I'll be able to share as we go.
I feel very bold. I just took a sip of my coffee and nothing happened. It's a vat of coffee today. Look at this puppy. Oh my gosh. It keeps the ice really cold too, but I felt like it was a special day. It's a day to celebrate. Also, it's happy birthday to my friend Gretchen. So as soon as I told her when we would make the debut for All In, she said, "Hey, that's my birthday." So we knew it was a sign that it was going to be a great day. You know who else is celebrating a birthday today? Tom Brady. You know what Tom Brady hasn't done to celebrate his birthday? He hasn't gotten himself kicked off the number one broadcast team on Fox like a number one broadcaster on CBS. Oi. So there's a lot happening. It's Tom Brady's birthday, but we're not going to spend a lot of time talking about him. Instead, it's also Major League Baseball trade deadline day. So what a perfect day for a launch. Haven't broken anything yet. I don't have the answers to all the questions. However, I know that I'm happy to be back, starting a new routine. So thankful to Rogue Media Network for the opportunity and to Zach for working with me. Poor Zach. He had answered 4,327 questions in the last week, and he's done so with grace and patience. So I'm very excited about that. I'm not reading your comments during the show because I am not that good of a multitasker, but I will say I'm really happy to have you in, to welcome you into the studio. I welcome your feedback. I'm going to take it with a grain of salt. But of course, this is a collaboration. This is a project that wouldn't be possible without you all paying attention and listening. And as I said, really grateful for your support and encouragement. So coming up, we're going to dive into the major story of the day. It's not just about another massive trade the Dodgers pull off to bring in the best available pitcher, maybe the best pitcher on the planet right now. It's also about what this means for the future. So did the Dodgers just usher in an era in Major League Baseball in which we will not go forward without a salary cap? I'll answer that question. I'll explain coming up. 20 minutes down, nothing's broken. I don't think. Dog is still sleeping, I think. I haven't really touched the camera. We don't have any fingerprints on it yet. And mostly, I'm just excited because we're off and running into the wild blue yonder. Thanks for joining us here on All In with Amy Lawrence on YouTube and the Rogue Media Network.
It's the premier charity event of the year, the 2026 Central Texas Cattle Barons Ball, presented by Ascension Providence. A fun evening filled with great food and drink, dancing, a spectacular auction, and more. This year's theme is Nashville Nights, Neon Lights, and Bullfights. Get your tickets now, donate, or be a sponsor. Help support the American Cancer Society to find a cure. The 2026 Central Texas Cattle Barons Ball, October 24th at MCC Highlander Ranch. For more information, go to centraltexascattlebaronsball.org.
Summer isn't over yet. Make every last splash count at Waco Surf. Catch perfect waves, float the lazy river, or relax on the beach while the kids make unforgettable memories. Stay in their hotel or private cabins, or hook up with your RV. Located just 90 miles from Dallas and Austin, set on 450 acres in the heart of Texas, Waco Surf is unlike any other water park around. Before school starts, give your family one more epic adventure. WacoSurf.com. Book your stay today and catch a wave.
For 75 years, Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. No gimmicks, just durable, well-designed bottles built to last. Join us on our mission to amplify life, not complicate it. Because at Nalgene, what goes into our bottles matters as much as the adventures they fuel. Explore more at nalgene.com. That's NALGENE.com.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone and then you're gonna use the Kodak Photo Print app. It's going to print you a 4x6 photo. I am just in awe. I love how these turned out. Also, the printer comes with a free cartridge of 10 photo sheets. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
When you learn a language with Babbel, you start a journey that takes you further and further. Anytime and anywhere you wish. It's easy and fun. Broadens your horizons and keeps your brain fit. A journey into new thoughts, new cultures, new adventures. So what are you waiting for? Start your journey with Babbel now. Go to babbel.com or download the app.
How do you like the new logo? It's pretty cool, right? So it's in the corner in the bottom, and we have various iterations of it. But funny story, when we were getting ready and we are collaborating, so over the last month, we've been working on production and the visuals, some of the graphics that you'll see. And right now we're bare bones here, all in with Amy Lawrence, because we're just getting started. We want to see what works. But as we were putting together the logo, we started with just a couple basic, and by say we, Mike, the creative director at Rogue Media Network, started with some basic stuff. And I was trying to tell him how much I love bright orange and purple. So those are my two favorite colors. Orange is a signature color for me. It's so bright and therapeutic. I don't know how anyone can not love orange. Not that I wear it all the time, but just seeing it, being in an orange space makes me happy. Sunsets, incredible orange, right? So orange is an awesome color. It has a lot of amazing qualities to it. And he started out with more pastel orange and then maybe a little bit brighter. And I told him, no, sharp orange, bold orange, energetic orange, kind of like me. And so we were able to get to this point. I love the microphone. The microphone makes me happy. And my brother saw the logo and said, the purple football looks weird. And for a second, I thought, okay, maybe we should make the football brown. But actually, I like the fact that the football is purple. And so you'll see that logo on our social media. You can still find me on Twix, X, at AOL Radio. That's not changing. People have asked me about the Facebook page, and I thought about, contemplated, even tried. Heavens, trying to change your profile photo on Facebook is a pain in the rear. But I did try and look into changing the name because, of course, that Facebook page with tens of thousands of you that follow along, which I really appreciate. We have an ongoing conversation there. It was started way back in the early stages of my previous show, After Hours with Amy Lawrence. Because it's a verified account, if I change the name, that goes away. Not that I care about the check mark, but just the fact that it is verified, it's considered a public figure account, and I would lose that status and that kind of jazz. So I don't want to start fresh. You all would have to find the page again. So we're going to stay with the name of that Facebook page, After Hours with Amy Lawrence. But I really do use it after hours, after my work hours. And so you can find the logo. You can just search All In with Amy Lawrence on the various social media platforms and of course on YouTube, but we will have a streaming app and the podcast will be available afterwards. So there's lots of different ways that you can find us. Zach tells me that you're already commenting on YouTube, which is awesome. Of course, I'm learning about YouTube as we go, but right after the show, the live broadcast is done. It turns into a podcast. It turns into a video. These are all new terms that I've never used before. It packages itself on YouTube and it will be housed there. And so you'll be able to find it. Lots of ways that we're going to navigate this first week, find a rhythm, find a groove. The whole idea is to be into a great rhythm and a solid, steady flow by the time we get to football season and have some of these kinks worked out. So perfect timing here at the beginning of August so that we can, I won't even say so I can stumble through the challenges of being on video and figuring this part out, and 17 cords coming out of my laptop. Let's hope it doesn't die anytime soon. I will have to invest in a laptop that's newer than 2020 at some point. But I decided camera and microphone were the most important things. Okay, so let's talk about the Dodgers and the bombshell Can we even call it that, actually? It's not a huge surprise that the Dodgers landed Tarek Skubal. It really isn't. But unknowingly, maybe unwittingly, or maybe intentionally, the Dodgers have now created an even greater sense of urgency with the ownership group. It's funny to say because the Dodgers are part of Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball is made up of the owners of the 30 teams. Okay, so that's the brain trust. I call it an oligarchy. As much as we look at Rob Manfred, or you may look at Roger Goodell in football, Gary Bettman in hockey, you look at them as the dudes that are running the show. Yes, they are, but essentially they are CEOs of the sport, meaning they're not the owners. The commissioners are just the guys and gals. If you're talking about the WNBA, not Val Ackerman, sorry. It's not run very well, right? The WNBA. And so I hesitate to include her in this process. Kathy Engelbert, Val Ackerman, my apologies, is the commissioner of Big East, but I love her. She's awesome. So the commissioners are the CEOs, and they are standing in the line of fire, and they are carrying out the bidding and the wishes of the owners. So owners have to vote on everything. Owners have to agree on everything. And really what Rob Manfred is, he's tasked with carrying out the plans, the purposes, the ideas, the negotiating. He's part of it, but he's supposed to implement what the owners want. Okay, so you can blame Rob Manfred if there happens to be a work stoppage, but it's really not on him. It's not on the commissioner. He would lose his job if he wasn't carrying out the plans that the owners have. Okay, so that's one thing. The owners of the various teams make up Major League Baseball. On the other side, you've got the union and the Players Association. And baseball's union is the most powerful. The reason there is no salary cap yet in baseball, the reason that we've had luxury tax threshold 1 and luxury tax threshold 2, and the reason that they haven't been able to implement a hard ceiling yet the way the other sports have is because the Players Association doesn't want it. Plain and simple. The Players Association pushes back on this, does not want a salary cap. I mean, the answer is obvious. Why? Why? Well, because we want our ace pitchers to sign contracts for 14 years and $380 million, right? And a salary cap would not allow teams to do that and would limit the amount of money that players can sign up for in guaranteed contracts. That's the other thing. In Major League Baseball, the contracts still, because of the union, because of the Players Association, because of how much power it wields, all these contracts, these gaudy contracts that are full of monopoly money, they are guaranteed, fully guaranteed, unless there's a clause in a contract. Let's just say an athlete goes out there and breaks some rules or gambles. There's a great example right now because gambling is a major pitfall and temptation for professional athletes and college athletes too. So if a player goes out there and violates the behavioral clause or the terms of his contract and he gets himself suspended or in trouble, well, then yes, that's a suspension without pay. But for the most part, when a contract is signed on the dotted line and it's $350 million, that money is fully guaranteed. So of course the Players Association, the union, doesn't want a salary cap because that will bring these contracts maybe back to earth. But it means then teams only have a certain amount of money to spend. Yes, there will be exceptions. The NBA has a bunch of mid-level exceptions and supermax contract exceptions. And so there are exceptions, and there probably will be. But ultimately, it will limit the amount of money that agents can get for their players, like a Scott Boras, that teams can spend even on the most talented and the most impactful players that are on the market. So that's one reason why we're getting a conflict here. That's one reason why you've got the two sides that are, I got to put my hands up above the, maybe I'll have to zoom out with the camera, but you can't see me when I was gesturing down here below the microphone. You can't see that. So yeah, that's why they're butting heads, is because the Players Association is anti-salary cap, anti-ceiling to the thing, while the owners recognize There's got to be a drastic change. And here along come the Dodgers playing by the rules. You can't get mad at you can get mad at the Dodgers, but it would be irrational and illogical and mostly misplaced aggression. It's not the Dodgers' fault that the system allows them. I'm not yelling. I'm passionate about this. It's not the Dodgers' fault that the system allows them to bring in the best and the brightest, including Tarek Skubal. It's the system that allows, wow, he's already in Dodgers blue. Yeah, that's a little stunning, isn't it? Especially for Tigers fans. The fact is he's already there with LA, and he is expected to make his debut on Tuesday. How about this? Against the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field. So welcome to the National League and welcome to the Dodgers, Tarek Skubal. And so it's not, again, the Dodgers' fault that the system allows them to go out and pursue with whatever resources they would like to use the best of the best. And sure, you can say they're trying to buy their way to another World Series, but until the system changes, aren't they doing what every team wishes it can do? Right? How many Pirates fans out there wish that their team, raise your hand, wish that your team could spend as much money, or would? I guess it's not the could so much, it's the would. Not every owner wants to spend this kind of money. Not every owner wants to sink its resources into bringing the best of the brightest. And if you follow the Dodgers, you know that their system is one in which they spend money to make money, but also their system is one in which they do a ton of deferred contracts. The number roughly, don't quote me on this, it's all monopoly money, but the number roughly is they now owe in deferred money, meaning it'll be paid at some point down the road. Shohei Ohtani's contract is a great example of this because was it 75% of his contract is deferred and is paid out later down the road, not the day when he signed. A lot of NFL contracts, what guys are looking for is guaranteed money due on signing. Well, in Major League Baseball, there are stipulations that allow these guys to get the deferred portion of the contract later down the road. And so $1.1 billion, that's billion, that's the B word, 1.1. Why do I make such funny faces? Can I do a show like this? I can't look at myself. I know that I'll be put off by my crazy faces in my eyes. This is why I always wanted to do radio, because I don't think I come across very well on camera. However, whatevs, it's a camera. I'll learn to ignore it. So what was I saying? My brain is like a plate of spaghetti. I have one thought and I'll pull it off the plate or twirl it on a fork. And I'm intending to pull one thought or a series of thoughts off the plate. And instead, all these other thoughts come jumbling out and off the plate, out of my mouth. So I get distracted by my Italian talking, my hands. $1.1 billion is what the Dodgers reportedly owe in deferred contracts. And will they try to sign Skubal to a long-term deal? Of course they will. But the idea is the Dodgers are playing within the rules. I admire them. I feel like you have to respect them as a sports fan if you're paying attention to what's going on. You could accuse them of attempting to buy another World Series, but do you know that 2 years ago when they beat the Yankees, they used a spot start in the middle of the World Series? They've been decimated over the past several years by injuries to their starting rotation, and they have a couple of injuries now. Let's see, it's Tyler Glass now, and it's Blake Snell. So, and Shohei Ohtani, who Andrew Friedman did indicate that if he was a betting guy, which kind of feel like he shouldn't be saying that either, the president of baseball operations, that if he had to place a bet on it, he would say, yes, Shohei Ohtani will return to the rotation. They're being cautious. They want to be careful, of course, because he's their cash cow. And not only that, he's their best all-around player and MVP. And so they've got injuries, 3 guys in their starting rotation that are right now working their way back from injury, which means Skubal fills an immediate need. But long term, he's also the best pitcher in baseball who can get you closer to your goal. Now, Friedman's not going to jump in and say, hey, we just won the World Series. He's got more experience. He's got more wisdom. He's more tempered. But it was interesting to hear him say, and he did speak to the media at before their last game against the Red Sox, but he did speak to the media about why they decided that Skubal himself was their only target. He did say that. We were aggressive about one player and one player only.
Whenever there's a star level player that is available that can really shift championship odds, those are the moments that we'll be more aggressive. And we've tried in other instances and not lined up, and others where we have. But I think being by the backboard and doing everything we can to put ourselves in the best position with the core we have right now, with the way they go about their preparation to do everything they can to win a championship, when we can add to that and enhance our chances, we're going to be aggressive to do so.
So Andrew Friedman, pretty tempered in his comments, not in your face, suckers. We got Tarek Skubal. That's not Andrew Friedman. And he went on to say that there's no guarantee. We don't know what will happen in September. We don't know what our rotation or what our roster looks like by the time we get to the end of the regular season. But why shouldn't they put themselves in the best position to win? People who are begrudging the Dodgers or angry, and I got a lot of comments about this on Saturday night when I tweeted about this massive landslide that always seems to end up in LA, right? The fact that they are aggressive and that they continue to pursue these types of deals is something to be lauded if you're a Dodgers fan or if you appreciate good business. Okay? They invest money to make money, and it's working. But they also missed out on a couple World Series. It wasn't until the end of Clayton Kershaw's career that they were able to capitalize on the moves that they made. They hadn't won a World Series since 1988. It's not like they're winning every single year, but they also understand how to work the system. I don't mean game the system. I mean use the system to their advantage. Contrast the Dodgers with the Mets. The Mets go out and spend a ton of money every offseason, but they don't have the leadership yet. They don't have the culture that the Dodgers do. They don't yet have the winning formula. I know that leaves their fans in angst. If they can figure those things out, a common foundation upon which they can build, spending the money wisely on the right pieces, they will get there because they have the resources. The Dodgers fought through this for a few years, and they're still dealing with injuries to some of their most critical positions. However, they understand long-term how to build the foundation, the culture. Athletes who go to the Dodgers, different managers, or even front office execs who work with the Dodgers, they will tell you this is a great place to work. We feel supported. We feel like we're allowed to do what we do best, and management is behind us. Again, athletes will tell you it's a great organization to play for. So it's a well-oiled machine, right? The more you win, the more attention you get. The more you win, the more money you make. The more you win, the more that athletes want to be part of what you're doing because they want to win too. And the more you win, the more you can invest in your future. So the Dodgers are in that sweet spot, right? This is their wheelhouse. It's the system that allows them. You can be angry about it, but I feel as though that's mostly jealousy, right? So when we talk about hate in sports, I hate this team, I hate that athlete, it's primarily jealousy. And when it comes to a team like the Dodgers, it's jealousy because I wish my team was doing that, or I wish my team was as successful at what the Dodgers are doing, but we're just not there yet. And I understand that there are fans of teams out there that aren't willing to spend the money, and that's so frustrating. Tampa Bay, now they've had a couple of World Series appearances, right? They've gotten close, but Tampa Bay, their stadium situation is a disaster, right? So not only have they had the damage from the recent storm, but not willing to build a park or a stadium that will be a fun fan experience, or that will be one that becomes a destination for free agent athletes. Seems like they have an incredible farm system with their pitching, but all those pitchers generally tend to end up somewhere else. Pirates, same thing. You talk to Pirates fans, and gosh, PNC Park is my favorite in the majors. I love PNC Park. It's an incredible experience to go to a game in Pittsburgh. The issue is that every time they have a great player, most recently Paul Skeens. He's dynamic. He puts butts in the seats. He gives them a chance to win. Almost every time they have a great player, he ends up pitching and or winning somewhere else. And it's frustrating. But you can't be upset at the Dodgers for doing what they can under the system to become a winning team and to try to put themselves in the best position to win. But as I say, this is kind of in a weird, ironic way, yet another reason why owners are dug in. So the Dodgers make a huge splash. They get the best pitcher in baseball. But this is even more evidence of why and how the owners need to approach this upcoming deadline in negotiations. So December 1st is the critical day. Could there be a work stoppage? Absolutely. Is it depressing? Yes. Have we been around this mountain before? Sure. But maybe, just maybe, now is the time for baseball owners to dig in and to use this leverage and to say, hey, we've got the evidence that a salary cap is needed. So Skubal is now with the Dodgers. You're going to hear his emotional reaction to getting traded out of Detroit, where he said he wanted to stay, but the Tigers end up pulling the trigger on this trade. And also, how likely is it that we will miss games at the start of the 2027 season? At least we'll get the World Series. I'm Amy Lawrence. I'm so glad to have you with us. Look, I don't have to worry about saying the wrong name of the show because the logo is in the corner. All with Amy Lawrence. Flower is still all in with Amy Lawrence. She's here, though, and I don't know if you heard it. I think it was actually during the Andrew Friedman soundbite, so my mic was muted. But she sat down next to, I have a cabinet over here to my right. She sat down next to the cabinet and the door rattled a little bit and she scared herself and popped right back up. So I'm going to check her and make sure she doesn't need to leave or she's about to have some type of psychotic episode, which she does because she's a crazy dog. Kind of like her mom. Glad to have you with us. Again, my thanks to Zach because he's helping me in answering all my questions. If there are comments, Zach, I would love to see them. But we're heading up toward the top of hour number 1. Oh my gosh, it's launch day on YouTube and Milk Media Network.
Enjoy a quiet atmosphere with beautiful river views at the Brazos Landing, located in Waco along the Brazos River across from McLean Stadium. Enjoy homemade dishes like shrimp and grits, chicken piccata, braised short ribs, prime New York steaks, and more. Plus, enjoy a delicious dessert like creme brulee or key lime pie. Open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Sunday. Brazos Landing in Waco, the only place where I-35 and the Brazos River meet.
Lake Waco Golf Club is a semi-private facility nestled along the north point of Lake Waco, one of the few facilities in Texas to have a full 18-hole regulation golf course as well as an executive 18-hole par 3 golf course. Plus, check out their bar and grill, which is open to the public. And if you're not a golfer, then enjoy time by the pool or even enjoy fishing around Lake Waco. Become a member today and call to book your tee time. Lake Waco Golf Club, where family and friends fun begins. Check them out at lakewacogc.com for more information.
Farmhound's approach is a little different than a traditional treat company. We get to work with local farmers who are putting everything they can into regenerative farming. From the soil to the animals to the ecosystem. They care about how animals are raised and how we treat the earth. It's not just product, but it's part of that story. It's connected to just a whole lot more.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated with style and durability. You can trust Tervis tumblers to keep your drinks the perfect temperature, hot or cold, for hours. From the classic insulated tumblers to sleek stainless steel water bottles, each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
For the city, for the organization, that took a chance on me. So, yeah, it's tough. I love all those guys in there. They're some of my best friends, and yeah, it'll be tough for sure.
Like you said, going to a team like the Dodgers, having a shot to be part of history, how much does that mean to you?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's exciting. I'm excited. They got a good group. You hear everything across the way. I'm excited, though.
He's excited. He said all the right things, but obviously when your whole life just gets ripped up by the roots and it's time to start over, it's a challenge. Have you ever changed a job? Of course you had. Or maybe you've gone to a new school and everything around you is new and different, but also you didn't really want to leave where you were. It wasn't maybe your choice. Now, good for him that his pitching will lead the way. And this is what happens with athletes. And really, I think with humans too, when everything else around you is blowing up, you find that place where you're most comfortable. You find what works for you, what you do well, you focus on that and you get through it. And that's kind of the case with me right now. I know how to talk. I've spent 30 years talking about sports. So everything else around me is new. For heaven's sakes, there are photos behind me. Oh, one that I love. Oh, wait, right there of me swimming with dolphins. My husband did that as a surprise on our honeymoon, and it had to be one of the best days of my life. In fact, if you look at the photo, I don't know if I can zoom in. We don't need to zoom in, but maybe I'll bring the photo up here in a second. But if you look at that photo, the smile on my face, I like to tease my husband that I was smiling bigger and had a huger smile on my face than I did the day we got married. Sorry, babe. I love dolphins and I love swimming with dolphins. And actually that kind of works out. Okay. Anyway, my point was, as I'm getting used to everything new and the fact that you're watching me and I'm not really sure what to do, I look at the camera, can I look at my notes? What I'm falling back on is I've done this for 30 years. I've talked professionally 30 years. I can talk about sports. Who cares if there's a camera? Well, in the case of Skubal, what he's going to do now is pitch. And yes, he's got to move and family's got to move. And maybe it's going to be tough for them to all start if it's new schools or new jobs or a new neighborhood, all of that. Moving is not easy. Even if you are a professional athlete and someone is doing it for you, it's still not easy to adjust. Where do I get coffee? Where do I go to the grocery store? Does my air condition work? Right? Like these are all changes. And we just moved going back to early November of last year. Sometimes there's culture shock. Okay. So I'm a Northeastern girl and I love the cold. I really, really do. I grew up in New Hampshire. I love snow. I would take winter over summer any day. As much as I love the beach and I love being on the water, I love boats. I love the snow and the cold better, and it's exhilarating for me. Sometimes it can be about culture shock. Detroit to LA is a huge change. So he's a human being in addition to being a pitcher. And yeah, he's going to have to adjust. But the cool thing is he's going to the two-time defending World Series champion, kind of like he's that two-time defending AL Cy Young Award winner. He can now try to win a Cy Young in the other league. And what he can fall back on is baseball is still baseball. And I know how to pitch. and he will make his debut on Tuesday against the Cubs. Wow, according to the Dodgers. It's weird. I feel like I need to reset and tell you what you're watching, except you can tell what you're watching because it's in the corner there. Yep. If you found it, you're on the YouTube channel, so I don't need to tell you that either. At the top of the hour, we're going to share some of your comments because Zach tells me that there are a bunch of comments coming in. My phone is actually blowing up too. I don't know if Mom is currently watching, but I do know that she wasn't watching at the start of the show because she sent me a text that said, "Are you all set for the top of the hour?" Meaning it's okay. Time zones are time zones. Maybe I didn't clarify to her that it was 11 o'clock Eastern time that we started. But hi, Mom. So we do have some comments, and Zach has indicated that we'll share those after the top of the hour. But thinking about Skubal and starting all over and what this means for the Dodgers, there are more questions than answers. We don't know yet how it's going to work out. It's not possible to buy a World Series trophy. It's not. You still have to go out there and perform. But inadvertently, or maybe intentionally, actually, I shouldn't speak for the Dodgers. The ironic part is that by landing yet another superstar, by outbidding, quote unquote, the rest of Major League Baseball, and as a side note, the Dodgers didn't give up much. It's not like they gave up Shohei Ohtani to bring in Tarek Skubal. They actually didn't give up more than what most other teams out there probably could have mustered. And that's kind of the part that is throwing other teams for a loop. Like, hey, maybe we should have tried that because the price tag for Skubal really wasn't that high. But the Dodgers were aggressive and they pursued it and they decided that they were going to go aggressively. That's what Andrew Friedman said, is there was one player about which we were aggressive this deadline, and that was Skubal. And so maybe other teams should have tried it, but were intimidated by the big bad Dodgers. But looking ahead to December 1st, when we have this deadline for the two sides, owners and Players Association, to come to some agreement about negotiations. And if you don't really know what that means, their labor deal is expiring. They've got this renegotiation window. But on December 1st, if they have not come at least tentatively to an agreement, we could feel some deja vu where there's a work stoppage. So that means no more business deals, right? No more player signings, no more trades for a time being. That's all put on hold, put on ice, if you will. There are no more workouts with players at facilities. Okay, so their players and facilities have to be separate. Players and teams have to be separate. If the work stoppage would continue, and it would likely be a lockout, the players are not going to go on strike. It would be the owners locking out the athletes because they're not happy with negotiations or feel like they haven't found common ground. They'll lock them out. That means if we get to it, February, no more spring training, or at least no spring training for now. And you remember a few years ago, we had the same situation with baseball where the prolonged work stoppage or the prolonged impasse lasted until the end of March, and they finally got a deal done. But we did get past the first day of the Major League Baseball season. So we missed opening day. They ended up not missing any of the 162 games on the schedule. Do you guys remember the 7-inning doubleheaders? Well, that was a product of the work stoppage lasting through spring training and on into that first week of what was supposed to be the regular season. And so that's a possibility. But the reason that the owners are more dug in than ever about a salary cap is because of what keeps happening. It's not just the Dodgers, the Red Sox, the Yankees, the Mets, sometimes the Cubs. There are only a handful of teams that can really go all in and spend the most money. And so in order to level the playing field, in order to make sure that if the other owners want to, the rest of the owners can also participate, be all in on free agents. They can try to bring in some of the best players, and we have a divvying up of resources, right? So it's not a few teams have all the best players in baseball. It's a way to level the playing field. Owners are desperate to see a salary cap or some type of system that allows all teams to go after the next Tarek Skubal, that type of thing. I feel like we have reached the end of hour number one. But before I close out hour number one, I want to say thank you to all of our corporate business partners, some of whom I am sincerely hoping will jump on and be part of All In with Amy Lawrence because you like what we're doing, even after hour number one. But one of those is located in Waco. That's the home of Rogue Media Network, Waco, Texas, also the home of Baylor University. Waco Surf is located just 90 minutes from Dallas and Austin on 450 acres in the central Texas heartland. And it's unlike any other water park. You really can stay and play. So our thanks to Waco Surf, especially me, my first day. And we've got corporate sponsors. Stephanie is our national sales manager. She's the one you want to talk to because she is a rock star and can help you figure out a way to be part of what we're doing here. So hour number one is in the books. Hour number two, oh, great news for those of you who are still reveling in and or missing the World Cup and lamenting what could have been. I'm so glad you're with us. It's All In with Amy Lawrence, like it says there in the corner, here on YouTube and Rogue Media Network.
It's the premier charity event of the year, the 2026 Central Texas Cattle Barons Ball, presented by Ascension Provident. A fun evening filled with great food and drink, dancing, a spectacular auction, and more. This year's theme is Nashville Nights, Neon Lights, and Bullfights. Get your tickets now, donate, or be a sponsor. Help support the American Cancer Society to find a cure. The 2026 Central Texas Cattle Barons Ball, October 24th at MCC Highlander Ranch. For more information, go to centraltexascattlebaronsball.org.
Summer isn't over yet. Make every last splash count at Waco Surf. Catch perfect waves, float the lazy river, or relax on the beach while the kids make unforgettable memories. Stay in their hotel or private cabin, or hook up with your RV. Located just 90 miles from Dallas and Austin, set on 450 acres in the heart of Texas, Waco Surf is unlike any other water park around. Before school starts, give your family one more epic adventure. WacoSurf.com. Book your stay today and catch a wave.
For 75 years, Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. No gimmicks, just durable, well-designed bottles built to last. Join us on our mission to amplify life, not complicate it. Because at Nalgene, what goes into our bottles matters as much as the adventures they fuel. Explore more at nalgene.com. That's NALGENE.com.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone and then you're gonna use the Kodak Photo Print app. It's going to print you a 4x6 photo. I am just in awe. I love how these turned out. Also, the printer comes with a free cartridge of 10 photo sheets. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
When you learn a language with Babbel, you start a journey that takes you further and further. Anytime and anywhere you wish. It's easy and fun. Broadens your horizons and keeps your brain fit. A journey into new thoughts, new cultures, new adventures. So what are you waiting for? Start your journey with Babbel now. Go to babbel.com or download the app.
So it's hour number two. Nothing blew up. I don't think there's anything hanging out of my nose. I didn't say anything completely crazy. And now we have mom on board. So hi, mom. Actually, hi to both moms. My mother-in-law mom and my actual biological mom. both of whom are so supportive. And while my biological mom, hi, Mary Lou, she can listen and watch today, she didn't realize the time change. Maybe it's my fault. I didn't tell her or make clear that it was 11 o'clock Eastern time that we were starting. And so after she heard me say it and she logged in and she realized the broadcast had already started, she sends me a text in all caps. Dang it! Dang it! But here's the cool thing. Because it's YouTube and it's the internet, mama, you can go back and watch the beginning. And for those of you who are not with us live the whole time, maybe you watch the first hour or maybe you're just joining now. Of course, it's packaged on YouTube. You can go back and watch it. And as Zach has put up at the bottom of the screen multiple times and will keep doing, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Spotify, whether you have another podcast platform or you want to find the tips on social media, you can do that by following us, essentially just searching for All In with Amy Lawrence, or on Facebook, those of you who prefer that. I know sometimes Facebook is super uncool. Actually, Facebook is the devil. So most of the time it's super uncool. But if you use it and you want to find me there, I can't change the name. So that's going to remain what it is. I mostly, when it comes to commenting about sports or sharing photos, I do a lot of that on Twix, Twitter, at A-Law Radio. If you have been following me or if we've been connected for longer than, say, the last 20 minutes, you know that I was locked out of my Twitter account for 3 months earlier in 2026. No joke. One moment I was posting and the next moment I was locked out and I could not get back in. And it took 3 months. And I mean thousands of emails and posts to try to get someone at that dang corporate headquarters to acknowledge that I was locked out. And so it finally did. It was almost 3 months to the day. And it was really frustrating. But now that it's back, I mean, I've had some stuff deleted. I was pretty upset when some of my pictures and some of my content was deleted by whoever hacked it and took it over. I had to kind of let it go and realize that I might never get it back. But then thankfully, I finally heard from someone at X and was able to verify. I had to send photos of IDs, all kinds of stuff. And I was able to get back in. And I joked about it that maybe they were trying to send me a strongly, we shouldn't say strongly worded message, a strong message. They were trying to warn me that I should stop calling it Twix, which I think is kind of clever myself. So we're all in with Amy Lawrence. Hour number 2. I will stop counting hours at some point this week. It's a little bit like when you first get married. And I know this because my husband and I have had this conversation. How long do you count months? So for the first 2 years, I was counting months. Our 1 month anniversary, our 2 month anniversary. In fact, not that long ago, we hit 2.5 years. And so I actually celebrated that. Was it 30 month anniversary? So we're still doing it. But at some point this week, I will stop counting hours. But this is our inaugural show, and you can always go back and watch, Mom. And you can always follow us on our social media. Thanks so much for hanging out. Thank you for those family members and friends who've already sent text messages, and for some of the comments that Zach tells me we're getting on our YouTube channel. If I had to find them myself, this would be a really long process and you would get really annoyed at me. But I don't know. How's it going so far, Zach? Do we have 5 people watching? Because it's probably my family members.
It's way more than that. It's been way more than that. Like I have been, we have gotten a lot of comments and really good turnout. Like I'm very pleased. I thought we would, but I mean, people tend to love you, and I get it. But it's been a lot of great comments so far since we started. There's a couple questions, but a lot of them are just very happy to find you, very happy the show's going, and that that they can be a part of it now in the mornings.
Awesome.
We have a couple questions, actual questions. I didn't know if you wanted to.
All right, fire away. Yeah, it's not quite Ask Amy Anything, but I do aim to please, and I want to answer questions.
Well, I'm going to save one that I do feel is more kind of up the Ask Amy Anything line that I'll save for the last one. We'll stick to the sports ones, though. There is someone who asked, how do you think Cam Ward will do with the Titans in year 2 of his NFL career?
All right. I love that. I feel as though the Titans have added pieces around him. But if you ask most veteran NFL QBs, and I thankfully have a couple that I can call on and talk to, and I work with a few in my NFL radio days, they tell you it takes about 3 years for a quarterback to really settle in. So even as we saw the jump with Caleb Williams in Chicago. Still, the football part of my brain is not quite back yet. But Caleb Williams made a massive jump in large part because Ben Johnson and having the right person in his ear and a system that worked for him and that accentuated the positives with Caleb. But also there's so much mentally and there's so much cognitively that goes into being a competent NFL QB that it takes some time. But we did see that toward the end of last year. Obviously, it's not a one-man sport or a one-man game, and so you've got to have the pieces around him. But I think the Titans were really emboldened and encouraged by what happened toward the end of last year, and now it's about building, making sure he has an offensive line, but also allowing him, because he didn't have the luxury, so to speak, of watching and learning for very long. He just throw him into the fire. So I think if he's a quarterback that's worth his weight as the number 1 overall pick last year, then you're going to see him mentally and physically make a jump. You're going to, and think about it like a Caitlin Clark, for instance. When she first came in, there's a ton of raw talent. We know Caitlin can shoot the lights out, but there's so much more involved. And there are obviously defensive players that are paid a ton of money to make you look stupid and foolish. So I would expect a jump. I don't want to say a tougher division. That is a division where you've got an established champion, right? The defense there with the Texans in the AFC South. The Jacksonville Jaguars, we saw a resurgence with them last year. So it's a challenge. We're not talking about the NFC South where no one really wants to win. This is the AFC South where you've got some tough teams. So I think the first month or so, even now with training camps, he's got to feel more comfortable and just more entrenched and more in control. And what do players tell you? When the game slows down and you can see it so much more and you can process in the moment, that's when you know you're in the zone.
I like that. Yeah, no, I like that. Another one we had, and of course I miss it, with the MLB trade deadline. I'm trying to make sure we touch on a little bit of everything. We'll just ask this one in general. Somebody was asking what the Orioles are going to do. But do you think, I'm not going to put you on the spot like that. My question is, do you expect there to be like another bigger move similar to something like the Skubal move we saw within the next 6 hours? I feel like that's our big one, but I could.
Yeah. I mean, and there are some guys that are still available, right? You've got a couple of pitchers out there. We did see that Luis Ariz is going from the Giants to the Phillies. So that happened just before we started the show. It was actually in the 9:00 Eastern time hour. But this is kind of crazy. We were talking about the upheaval for a player as much as it may not feel like all of the other details matter when you've got someone moving you and someone's paying for it. That's a nice luxury. This is his 5th team in 5 years. 5th set of teammates, 5th city, 5th uniform. That's a lot of change and a lot of transition. And it's hard to settle in ever if you're constantly on the move. So that's one big deal that was made. And again, I think that we are going to see some movement, but also, Zach, and thank you for asking the question, whoever it was. One of the challenges is that you've got so many teams that are still involved with that 3rd wild card that they implemented in each league a couple of years ago. So right now, because the American League is thick around the middle, it's so mediocre. For the most part, it's extremely mediocre. So many teams that are knotted right around the middle, like at 500 or just above, just below. Let's see. Even the Tigers, which I think is why the trade was a bit of a surprise, that the Tigers actually were only 2.5 games out of that 3rd wild card. And so from the Blue Jays on to the top of the wild card standings, you've got the Tigers, the Orioles, the Mariners, the Rangers, the Twins, all within 4.5 games of that 3rd wild card spot. And right now it's Yankees, Red Sox, Guardians that are there in the wild card spots. Of course, the Red Sox had a massive surge in July, which put them in that 2nd wild card spot. But because there are so many teams that are still within striking distance, so to speak, I feel like as much as one guy could maybe tip the scales in a division race, I don't know how much it separates the teams overall as you think big picture all the way through the end of September in the stretch run. In the National League, it's more of the same. Nationals, Cardinals, Pirates, Marlins, Padres, all within 4.5 games of actually what is a tie between the D-backs and Phillies for that second and third wild card spots. So to answer your question, I know that was the circuitous route. But there are so many teams that are still involved in, there's so many teams, good word, right? Good SAT word. Yeah. People still take SATs.
I think so. I hope so.
There are so many teams that are right there in the mix. That's an easier way to say it, that they're not all going to be sellers. And so some of the names that we're hearing, Clay Holmes, now the Mets they're doing a fire sale if they can get anything in return. Foster Griffin, the Nationals, another pretty rough team. The Padres are an interesting case only because their fan base and even their front office is not wanting to wave the white flag and let everyone know they're kind of done for the year. But I mean, that's where it is. There are only so many teams, a handful of teams that are willing to be big time sellers. And so that's why there's not as much of a flurry expected. There aren't as many assets that are available, if that makes sense. But we will see. I mean, you could have one domino and then all of a sudden all the dominoes that are still standing fall. Yeah,
it's what we were told in the NBA, right? Like everybody was waiting for LeBron to make a decision so everybody else could sign where they wanted.
I'm glad that our first show is not the day that LeBron picked the Sixers. I did a show that night on Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio, and of course it was 3 hours of LeBron James. But I'm glad that that's in the past and that we don't have to talk about until the NBA season tips off.
I had two more that I was going to do. One just I thought was fun, but we see it when you move it. I don't know if we see it now, but they asked, well, here, I can make you full screen and just go there.
Oh, there we go.
Did you paint the beach scene on the wall behind you?
Okay, so here's the great story about this. I've been waiting for someone to ask. Let me just turn around because there's actually two. Let's see if I can show you both here at the risk of just screwing up the whole camera thing. See, there's the other one. Oh, yep. See, I don't want my water in the shot. I'm a control freak. I'm controlling this. Let me turn around. So there are two. The one that you see is the one that was painted by my husband. Okay, so there are two of them. I painted one, he painted one. And wouldn't you know, Zach, this was a great date idea for my husband when we were long distance. So for about 9 months before we got married, he was in Texas. I was in New Jersey, and we would meet once a month. Either I would fly to the Lone Star State. We were doing wedding planning, of course, or he would come visit New Jersey because he ended up moving there for a couple of years. But one of our initial dates, so two ideas that were great ideas from him. One, we baked together. So I love to bake. I love to bake cookies. Awesome. Yes. Mm-hmm. In fact, you will be the recipient at some point when I get back to Waco because I bake for other people. It's a good stress reliever and I love to share cookies. And so we baked on a video call, but actually it was really funny. I didn't even have the right ingredients. So he was baking the recipe and I was screwing up. But then the second date, a package showed up in the mail and it was an easel and it was a few paintbrushes and it was the canvas. So we ended up painting on canvas with a video that we would follow. And his painting that you see is strategically placed there because his is so much better than mine. I am not an artiste. I can't draw a stick figure with a ruler. Art freaks me out and I'm not good at it. And so I love his painting, but I'm glad you asked. Thank you so much because that is his, not mine. Yeah. Someone else asked me too, actually, Zach. Someone else asked me on Twitter, Twix, whatever, at A-Law Radio, if that was a Dale Earnhardt photo behind me. And so here's how I want to do it. Although if you go to Twitter, you'll see the shelves that are behind me and you can kind of pick through it and look. But it's a few of my favorite things. And I don't actually want to tell people all the stories behind everything that I put up here. I want you all to figure it out. Can you see what's back there? Because it was all very strategic. Again, some of my favorite things and some of my favorite people and animals are represented on those shelves behind me. So as you all listen to the sound of my voice or as you watch, you can see what's behind me and actually send me your comments. Tell me what you see and tell me what stands out to you. So yes, we've got 2 framed photos, a painting. There are a couple of awards also in the shot, and then some special photos, some of my favorite books, both sports and non, and then a few other, I'll call them mementos, but just items that give me a smile. So as I'm nervous starting something new here, what's behind me helps me calm down, but also reminds me that, hey, I've got people in my corner. I've got people who love me, and just kind of the sentimental value of reminding me that this is just one part of my life and not my whole life. If I somehow blow things up, Zach, and after a month, Corey says no, like absolutely no. Wait a minute, would you still have a job? You would, right? You'd go produce some other show.
Yeah, it wouldn't be as fun. I'll tell you that much for sure.
Oh, thank you. That's awesome.
But yeah, no, but I don't think that's going to be a concern. I will tell you. Well, I won't tell you. The one thing that stuck out to me out of everything, I asked you about the picture, but the one thing that caught my eye first is honestly the Uno game that you have on there.
Ooh,
because
yeah.
I just know that we talked about. I think so. Yeah, we talked about Star Wars and stuff the other day. So I got
yes.
that. But,
okay, so if you do the wide shot, like if you do the single shot here so people can see it. Yeah, so the Uno game is right. Good job, Zach. The Uno game. Wait, camera, Amy, camera. I was pointing at it, but you weren't seeing it because it wasn't in the camera. That's the crazy thing is I told you earlier I was making a hand motion and trying to demonstrate, but you couldn't see it because it was below the camera. So right here is the Uno game. That's my Star Wars section. Can you see the bobblehead, Zach? Do you see the bobblehead?
I do. I'm trying to make out who. So is that all one thing, or is that 2 there?
Well, it's a bobblehead.
Is somebody riding a tauntaun?
Yes. Obi-Wan. It's my Obi-Wan bobblehead. It was a Christmas gift from an old producer because he knew how much I love Star Wars. So I can't make it move because I can't read it. And I one day this week I will feel confident enough to get up and back up over there. But because I'm wearing headphones, your host Amy Lawrence does not do cordless headphones. Do you want to know why? Because they get stuck in my hair. So when I run, my hair is sometimes up, but like the motion makes them fall out. Whenever I'm on the phone, and I do have cordless headphones like Bluetooth, not Bluetooth.
Bluetooth. Yeah. I think I have some of those too.
Bluetooth on YouTube. Yep. I also make up words when I talk too much. So I have Bluetooth headphones and I'll use them when I'm on the phone with friends just so I can, I don't know, fold clothes or wash dishes or whatever, take a walk. But the problem is they get stuck in my hair and they fall out. And I have had them fall into a beverage more than once because I'll be standing over a beverage. They'll get stuck in my hair and they fall into my drink. And so it's not a good idea. So I'm tethered, if you will. I can't go very far because the headphones are attached to the microphone, which is right here. And so if I go too far, more than say 2 feet, there will be a very large crash. So we don't want that to happen.
No, this was the last one I had, and I thought it would also set up something else that you wanted to talk about. So that's why I say this is the last one.
Yay.
But it was just in general. What are your thoughts on the World Cup?
Perfect.
Leads us into,
That is perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to use that as our tease. For those of you who are missing the World Cup, who loved seeing the U.S. play right after July 4th, our 250th birthday on American soil, and are still lamenting the fact that we could not get farther as Team USA, I've got some great news. Now, I can't tell you the World Cup is coming back in a year or 2 years. We have to wait another 4 years, but we've got the man who is steering the ship, who's signed on. I'll explain, but this is good news on a Monday. Breaking news, All In with Amy Lawrence on YouTube and Rogue Media Network.
Enjoy a quiet atmosphere with beautiful river views at the Brazos Landing, located in Waco along the Brazos River across from McLean Stadium. Enjoy homemade dishes like shrimp and grits, chicken piccata, braised short ribs, prime New York steaks, and more. Plus, enjoy a delicious dessert like creme brulee or key lime pie. Open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Sunday. Brazos Landing in Waco, the only place where I-35 and the Brazos River meet.
Lake Waco Golf Club is a semi-private facility nestled along the north point of Lake Waco, one of the few facilities in Texas to have a full 18-hole regulation golf course as well as an executive 18-hole par 3 golf course. Plus, check out their bar and grill, which is open to the public. And if you're not a golfer, then enjoy time by the pool or even enjoy fishing around Lake Waco. Become a member today and call to book your tee time. Lake Waco Golf Club, where family and friends fun begins. Check them out at lakewacogc.com for more information.
Farmhound's approach is a little different than a traditional treat company. We get to work with local farmers who are putting everything they can into regenerative farming. From the soil to the animals to the ecosystem. They care about how animals are raised and how we treat the earth. It's not just product, but it's part of that story. It's connected to just a whole lot more.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated with style and durability. You can trust Tervis tumblers to keep your drinks the perfect temperature, hot or cold, for hours. From the classic insulated tumblers to sleek stainless steel water bottles, each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
I love those graphics. That's pretty sweet. Zach's been busy, and I actually didn't ask you this, Zach, so I don't know. I guess I will find out with the rest of the listeners and viewers, whether or not the end of the show will be familiar. Don't tell me. I just want to wait and see. But we're running through this for the first time. It's launch day here on All In with Amy. And I will tell you, I'm going to talk about sports more as we continue through, but because it's all new and I know you all are excited, I definitely want to share some of the process with you. Well, I'm stunned, and I mean stunned with a capital STUNNED. Like, I'm yelling at you. If I were to put that out there on social media, you would think I was yelling at you. I am stunned that my dog Flower has been as calm as she has. So the other dog, Daisy, is not here with us. She's the mini Aussie. She's usually posted up against, she holds up the walls in the house. So she curls up against a wall or heads at this weird angle. And she's got a couple different places in corners where she sleeps. And let me just tell you, that dog sleeps nonstop. She would sleep 22 hours a day and spend the other 2 chasing a ball if she could. Our dog Flower, who I found at a shelter south of Austin in Texas a couple of Christmases ago, she's a nut. She's much more like me, which is why my husband likes calling her my dog. The entire time I was prepping, and even after I closed the door to the show, whole time she's been curled up in a ball on one of the rugs here in the studio, the room. Let me just turn around and see. I'm afraid to move the camera. Hi, Flower. Okay, I took a picture. She didn't eat all of her breakfast, though, so I'm wondering if she's not feeling well. Bubba, are you okay? Uh-oh. What if she throws up in the middle of the broadcast? Oh, well, I guess you deal, right? At least it's an old rug. Are you okay, Bubba? Are you okay? One of the reasons I worry about her is because Flower's the kind of dog, those of you who are dog owners who have breeds like this, she gets into everything. everything. She eats grass. She sticks her nose into fire ant hills. She's constantly running around like a nut outside. And so back in January, this was really scary actually. Back in January, something happened. She either got stung or got bit when she went outside first thing in the morning. And within an hour, she had started to throw up and collapse. And she had gone into anaphylactic shock. And it took the local vet. Well, he didn't actually know exactly what was wrong with her. We had to take her to College Station, where thankfully a world-class hospital. We rushed her there, but by the time she got there, it was serious. She was bleeding profusely, and she was in ICU, an animal hospital intensive care unit for 5 days. And she didn't eat for 5 days. So now whenever I walk the dog outside or let her outside, I pray that she doesn't get into something, but she hasn't eaten well the last 12 hours. So I'm a little bit nervous I get nervous now because of what gets into. Are you okay? I think she knows I'm talking about her. Dogs are so smart. Okay, so for now, she's fine. I did take a photo. Maybe I'll share that on social. But good news. I don't want to get so sidetracked. First day. Let's stay on point. Let's do this. Great news for those of you who are either longtime U.S. soccer fans or fell in love with U.S. soccer for the first time during this most recent World Cup. This news broke just before the show started, and I love that I can pass this along to you. There will be consistency at the top because the manager/coach in soccer, it's called a manager, and actually soccer is called football, right? By the rest of the world, Mauricio Pochettino has signed a new contract. This was a major question coming out of the World Cup, and actually even during the World Cup, the question was posed. He's got a new contract on the table. Will he take it? Will U.S. soccer want to keep him on, even though the Americans, the U.S. men's national team, did not get into the quarterfinals? That's one way that video is very important. Stake right through my heart. There aren't many teams out there that I still feel a passion and emotion for because of the fact that I've been in this business now for so long. I really don't get as emotionally attached to teams anymore. Even the teams I grew up with, I cut my teeth on late 80s, early 90s NBA. I loved the Boston Celtics, Larry Bird, Dennis Johnson. In fact, if you look behind me as you're perusing my shelves back there, you'll see that there are some Larry Bird books and memorabilia because I love Larry Bird. The Celtics, late 80s, early 90s are the reason that I'm in this business. Growing up in New Hampshire, I fell in love with them. So the Celtics, the Denver Broncos, before I knew anything about football at age 13, I was watching a game with stepdad and brother, and just the excitement of a fourth quarter comeback engineered by John Elway. I could have told you what a third down was when I was 13, but I fell in love with the excitement, the drama, and that's still true today with the NFL, right? And so those are teams. Dale Earnhardt. There he is. Dale Earnhardt, a couple of other, Steffi Graf, when she was dominating tennis, John McEnroe, when he was on the men's side. I loved watching tennis. So I really fell in love with those teams. Syracuse University, there's actually, maybe it's not hung up yet. Oh, wait, here it is. I actually didn't finish hanging it up yet. Yeah, baby. Let's go. Because now not only do I get to teach there as an adjunct, but my master's degree is from Syracuse in TV and radio. So I went to Newhouse School, and I love not just Syracuse, but Orange. So Syracuse. But after all these years of having to watch games analytically, I really don't get as emotionally invested. Even doing a Super Bowl post-game show after Peyton Manning and the Broncos got crushed by the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. And then a couple of years later, we're able to win Super Bowl 50. I still, once I go into a studio and shut the door, a lot of that emotion is left outside because I have to approach the game, the show, the analysis, my job very analytically. So it kind of takes some of the fun out of watching a game. No one invites me to Super Bowl parties anymore because I have to take notes and I actually have to watch the games, right? But there is one team. This circles us back to U.S. soccer. There is one team that I can get so emotional about that I feel the high highs and the low lows. I am thrilled that they were able to win a knockout game. I love the way that the United States, its fans, even fans who wouldn't watch soccer any other time of the day or year, were all in on this U.S. men's national team. And to work on July 4th and to have the excitement of the 250th and all of the buzz and energy around the country building around the U.S. men's national team as they went into that game in Seattle against Belgium. I know it was painful and it felt like a stake in the heart. And the question was at the time, are they going to bring back this manager? Was this a disappointment? I'll be honest, I set semifinals as the goal. Semifinals is what I was believing for, hoping for. I'm not about praying for my teams when I want them to succeed. This team was awesome, and we were all sucked in. And the wave of energy and joy across the country for the U.S. men's national team was unlike anything we've seen in a long time. And so I am really grateful. Uh-oh. My dog is actually throwing up. Oh my gosh. Of course, on day number 1. Okay. I feel like I'm going to have to let her out, but you know what? We'll go ahead and we will finish. Flower. Oh my gosh. She has threw up all over. I'm not showing you the video, so don't ask, but I'm not joking. I just heard this sound. I turn around and the dog has thrown up 3 times on the rug. Oh, make that 4 times. Okay. Well, we didn't blow up the internet yet, but the dog did throw up right in the middle of show number 1. Bubba, I'm sorry. Okay, so you know what? We're going to take a break. Zach, has this ever happened in the history of sports talk that a dog threw up in the middle of your first show? Probably not. But we're going to take a break. Zach, I'm going to run and let her out so that she can go outside. And also, it smells like throw up in here. Thank you, Flower. She's all in with Amy Lawrence here on YouTube and Rogue Media Network.
It's the premier charity event of the year, the 2026 Central Texas Cattle Barons Ball, presented by Ascension Provident. A fun evening filled with great food and drink, dancing, a spectacular auction, and more. This year's theme is Nashville Nights, Neon Lights, and Bullfights. Get your tickets now, donate, or be a sponsor. Help support the American Cancer Society to find a cure. The 2026 Central Texas Cattle Barons Ball, October 24th at MCC Highlander Ranch. For more information, go to centraltexascattlebaronsball.org.
Summer isn't over yet. Make every last splash count at Waco Surf. Catch perfect waves, float the lazy river, or relax on the beach while the kids make unforgettable memories. Stay in their hotel or private cabins, or hook up with your RV. Located just 90 miles from Dallas and Austin, set on 450 acres in the heart of Texas, Waco Surf is unlike any other water park around. Before school starts, give your family one more epic adventure. WacoSurf.com. Book your stay today and catch a wave.
For 75 years, Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. No gimmicks, just durable, well-designed bottles built to last. Join us on our mission to amplify life, not complicate it. Because at Nalgene, what goes into our bottles matters as much as the adventures they fuel. Explore more at nalgene.com. That's NALGENE.com.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone and then you're gonna use the Kodak Photo Print app. It's going to print you a 4x6 photo. I am just in awe. I love how these turned out. Also, the printer comes with a free cartridge of 10 photo sheets. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
When you learn a language with Babbel, you start a journey that takes you further and further. Anytime and anywhere you wish. It's easy and fun. Broadens your horizons and keeps your brain fit. A journey into new thoughts, new cultures, new adventures. So what are you waiting for? Start your journey with Babbel now. Go to babbel.com or download the app.
Only me. Only my dog. Only. I'm a little bit worried about Flower, but only because of what happened with her in January. She's probably fine. She's outside now. Do you think I will ever live that down? My dog throwing up in my new studio on a clean rug during my first show. Zach, in your history with radio, with TV, with broadcasting, have you ever had a show or a host who's had to take a break because the dog threw up?
No. Okay.
Or actually, you have a toddler. Has your toddler ever completely destroyed something or at least distracted you and you had to clean something up in the middle of a broadcast?
I was produced, thankfully it was pre-recorded, but we were doing an interview and doing it beforehand. And he just wanted to sit there with me and watch. And I wasn't on camera. So I was like, oh, that's fine. And he just wanted to be like Dad. And he grabbed something and pulled. And all of a sudden my laptop screen just goes black. And I had to figure out, okay, let's figure out what we're doing here. But no, that was the first. I've also been lucky enough to share a radio studio with snakes and stuff like that, which can lead to
I'd rather have a dog throwing
things.
up.
Exactly. No. So
gosh.
It's no, we made it work. I hope she's okay, but we made it work.
I hope she's okay too, but right now I can't believe that she threw up in the middle of show number 1. Why not yesterday? Why not tomorrow? Show number 1, and there's nothing we can do about it. So I guess that's the beauty. The thing is, if I were in a radio studio or just a studio and I wasn't at home, of course, that wouldn't have happened. I had to not only clean it up the best I could, but I also had to go get some Lysol because it stinks like puke in here. Oh my gosh. The best laid plans of dogs and men. Well, the best laid plans of dogs and this woman. Gosh, of all the things I was expecting on day number 1, that was not it. Oh my gosh, there's still throw up on the floor. She did throw up her breakfast, so I guess that would explain why she didn't eat her breakfast. Okay, let's see if I can concentrate. Just kidding. Of course I can concentrate, but I'm a little embarrassed. I guess that takes the pressure off me because Flower already stole the headlines, right? Maybe we shouldn't tell anyone about this first show, Zach, and just pretend like we're starting tomorrow. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm a little embarrassed. I don't feel like I'm ever going to live that down. However, maybe this is a bad time to tell you how grateful we are for one of our new partners, family-friendly surf resort, Waco Surf. It features a wave pool, standing wave, a beach, a water park, lazy river, and endless outdoor activities. And for this girl who loves the water and is kind of far from the beach now in Texas, there is some coast. It's a little far away. I'm missing the ocean for sure. That sounds like a winner. So our thanks to Waco Surf for partnering with us. But U.S. soccer, let's distract you from the fact that my dog just threw up in the middle of a live show. We have threatened to send her back to the shelter. No. I love this dog. I actually never, ever, ever thought that I would be ready for another dog after I lost my Aussie Penny. And I'll give you yet another hint about what's up there on the shelf behind me. At the very top, there is a photo, it's actually a collage of photos, and Penny is up there. And also a gift that my friend Jay gave me after Penny passed away, or as Penny, I was getting ready to put Penny down, but she lived to 14. She was my constant companion for 12 years. She went with me everywhere, and she was the best dog ever. And thankfully, my husband got to meet her. She passed away about 3 months after we got married. And this dog walked with me through what was the loneliest period of my life, but also a transition where I picked up everything and moved to the New York City area. And so I loved Penny with my whole heart. And I never thought that I would find another dog that would fill that hole, or that I'd even want to adopt another dog. I mean, I figured we would just because we're both dog lovers, but I didn't know if I'd ever be so attached. And I went to this animal shelter south of Boston, Christmas time of 24, right? Yes, 24. And they had this dog that they had shown online. She was a Belgian Malinois mix. Didn't know how old she was. Just knew her name was Flower. She'd been dropped at the shelter, and she'd been there for 3 months, and no one had looked at her. And so they put her out in the yard. This was a very large shelter where I found her, 200 something dogs, and they really didn't get out of their cages much. And it was loud there. And so for the first 20 minutes inside the fence where I was getting a chance or trying to get to know her. She just kind of slunk along the ground, and she knew a couple of the volunteers there at the shelter, but she really didn't want anything to do with me. She wanted to sniff. She was so happy to be outside. And now knowing how much she loves to be outside, I can't fathom her only getting out of a cage once a week. So it's a really sad situation, but it took her 20 minutes. Me following her around this pen, this enclosure, and calling her name and talking to her. And she'd run by me every now and then, but she really wouldn't stop long enough for me to pet her. And so finally, after 20 minutes, she comes slinking up to me. Now she's low to the ground, obviously scared and nervous, but those gorgeous, beautiful, big brown eyes looked up at me and she let me pet her. And I talked to her for a couple of minutes and I sent my husband a text that said, I found her. And so I fell in love with this sweet flower. She's got ginormous flower petal ears, which is why we didn't change her name. We really don't know a ton about her, just that she's crazy. She's part Belgian Malinois, part Aussie cattle dog. She's very expressive. She loves to play. She loves to play Frisbee with her mom. She loves to run around the house. She and Daisy have bonded. But also she gets car sick. So that was kind of a bummer. Now we did not have her in the car today or any time in the last week. So I'm not sure why she isn't feeling well. I hope we don't have to take her to the vet. But also she has christened my new studio and my new show officially. Never lived that down here. All in with Amy Lawrence. The dog was all in. She's not going to be in here tomorrow. So back to soccer, but also Zach, just logistically, I'm asking only because I don't know. We don't have to take another break, right? We did that break. It was a little early, but we're fine. Thumbs up.
Yeah, no, we can take it. There we go. We can take it to the end of the hour.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Phew. All right. I've been sidetracked by my dog. Okay, so the good news is for U.S. soccer, even though it doesn't come around for another 4 years, the World Cup was a huge success. And of course, this is nature of the sport, whereas around the rest of the globe, it's year round, it's all the time, it's their primary sport. For those of us in the United States who maybe don't follow the MLS religiously, though Messi helped a lot with that, and really the World Cup will. We're going to see a surge in people going to soccer games and a surge in people paying attention to MLS games. But the World Cup is unique, and it only comes around like the Olympics every 4 years. And it's not going to come back here anytime soon, though I love it. And so we captured in the United States, in North America, because it wasn't just here in the U.S. where there were games, but in North America and primarily here in the United States, we captured lightning in a bottle. That kind of buzz and energy and excitement. I like to say, and I firmly believe this for the most part, 99% of the time, we agree on nothing in this country except the NFL and dogs. All right. So the fact that my dog threw up, probably a lot of you can sympathize or empathize, and you can definitely relate. We don't agree on much in this country, but we love the NFL with a voracious appetite. And for the first time in a long time, maybe putting the Indiana Fever in that equation, because Caitlin Clark tends to draw a lot of attention. And certainly the WNBA and the Fever have benefited from her popularity and her style of play. But usually the NFL does not step aside, doesn't cede the spotlight, if you will, doesn't give up the yeoman share of attention in sports media. But in this pocket, around our 250th birthday, where the NFL is kind of quiet, we saw U.S. soccer grab the limelight and create this incredible excitement and energy and buzz around the country. And Mauricio Pochettino has everything to do with that. His soccer expertise, his experience, the credibility and the equity that he brings to the equation. And again, the question was asked many times throughout their run. As truncated as it was, we would have loved to see it go on. Quarterfinals. I kept thinking during that game against Belgium, which was, talk about an emotional roller coaster and just painful. After we scored the equalizer, what was it, 14 seconds later, they go up again, and the mistakes that were made, definitely the team looked nervous. But for Pochettino to stick around and to sign a contract, when the question was asked, does he deserve it? Will he want to stick around with U.S. soccer? For the news to break today that he will be with us through the next World Cup. Okay, so theoretically, 4-year deal, which means he will have the ability now, what he didn't have leading into this World Cup, 4 years of development and preparation and training and teaching and working with these guys. And so we saw a young culture develop. We saw this group really gel and come together. Yeah, there are some older guys that may not be part of the next World Cup team, but there are also some younger guys that need to develop. And the consistency and the ability to play together. That's one reason that the U.S. is behind the world stage and the global stage when it comes to soccer in other countries. Because, as I say, in many of these other countries in Europe and other parts of the world, Asia, even Africa, you've got teams that play together year round. You've got teams that are together and training even when there isn't a World Cup to prepare for. Whereas a lot of the U.S. guys, they go to MLS or they go overseas and they don't spend as much time with their own Team USA group. And so this will give him the full 4 years to develop. Will the pressure be on in 4 years? Absolutely, because he's essentially telling U.S. soccer, I can do this. You give me 4 years. You give me the ability to develop this team and the time and the patience, and we'll go farther than we did in the World Cup. But of course, it still hurts a little bit, that pain, that stake through the heart of, that was awful. Our worst possible game was how we ended. So it wasn't an exclamation point for Team USA. Instead, it was a wah, wah, wah. Like, as in, shoot, have we really gone any farther? Have we really made any progress? And those questions are not completely answered or satisfied yet. But I think keeping him, not only him agreeing to a 4-year deal to stay in the United States and to work with the U.S. men's national team, but also the fact that he is a winner and he does have international experience, that speaks to the rest of the world that, hey, we're not done. And there's a lot more that we can do with Mauricio as the manager. So that's great news. Congratulations to U.S. men's soccer. And certainly can't wait to see what happens moving forward. All right. So as we head up toward the top of the hour, I have no update on Flowers, so you can't ask me about that. But I am really excited that Zach tells me we've got comments, and he tells you that people are watching and listening. So really what we want to do with this show, and it'll evolve just like U.S. soccer, I hope. But what I really want to do with the show is to be able to connect and to be able to give us a daily couple hours, or if you listen and watch later on, whether it's a podcast or whether you find the show here on YouTube in its entirety as a taped broadcast. It's hard in this space where we are in 2026 with the internet, creating so many opportunities for people who want to talk, right? So I tell my students there are 8,493,711 podcasts out there, and I might be underselling it. There are so many different ways that you can spend your time when it comes to your entertainment options, and even narrowing it down to sports fans. Oh my gosh, think about the number of sports radio shows, sports TV talk shows, some very big names who are paid a lot more money than I am to put a YouTube show out there every day. But I do know that we had something special over the last, 13 years or so. And we were able to carve out a niche where our product is unique. Now, it's not the same product anymore. It's a new name. It's a new logo. It's a new space. It's a new dog who throws up in the middle of the first show. It's, I don't want to say new me, but it's a different me because my life has changed in the last year and a half. But there are some elements that I truly believe in that I want to be part of this moving forward. So as Zach has mentioned multiple times, and as we've already talked about, we've been planning for it. One of the most popular elements of the show that I did going back really over the last 15 years, not only did we do it on the show, but we had special offerings that were available on our YouTube channel, different YouTube channel. But Ask Amy Anything. We started it in the middle of Saturday's overnight show. This goes back to my first 2 years. Before I was weeknights, weekday mornings, depending upon when you listened. I did shows Fridays, Saturdays, Sunday nights. And we started it just as a way to get people involved. And it's still the most popular feature that we've done on that show. And really, I thought at some point we would can it because people would get tired of it, or it wouldn't be as interesting, or the novelty would wear off, the honeymoon phase, I guess. But even now, people have mentioned it a year and a half later. It's been a year and a half since we've done a new episode of Ask Amy Anything. But people still say to me, hey, are you going to bring that back? Or I miss it? Or can we do an episode of Ask Amy? So we are going to incorporate into this new show. Zach's on board. Like every other producer who got to try his hand at it, he will field the questions. And what we'll do is use social media, maybe in the 24 hours ahead of time. But also, we will give you the chance during the first hour of the show. We're going to do Wednesday. So instead of hump day, instead of hump show, excuse me, when I was over, I called it hump show. Instead of hump show, we're going to do hump day and Ask Amy Anything to kind of get you over the hump. So you're downhill toward the weekend. We'll do it on Wednesday, middle day of the week. And we'll give you the chance to share your questions, and whether they appear on screen or Zach just reads them, whatever the case is, we are going to incorporate Ask Amy Anything. By the way, it is oft imitated, never duplicated. I see other hosts, some who I know personally, who have tried to do their own version of Ask Amy Anything. But since they're not named Amy, it doesn't work as well. The alliteration, my favorite literary tool is the alliteration and the sounds, and the Ask Amy Anything just flows. So Zach's been working on new production. I'm pretty excited about that. We're going to bring that back. And also some other features, like you all haven't forgotten Chubby Bunny. Hey, Zach, you can pop on camera here for a second. Do you remember the old camp game? Did you ever go to camp when you were a kid and you would sit around the campfire and the game was to stuff as many marshmallows into your cheeks as you could? And every big marshmallow, they can't be minis, they got to be the jumbo marshmallows. Every marshmallow that you shoved into your cheeks, you had to say, Chubby Bunny. Remember that game?
Until you couldn't anymore.
Right, exactly. Well, we did 3 or 4 different editions of that. So it was the Chubby Bunny World Championship. And people still ask me, can we do that again? Now, here's what I found out about myself, because I also narrate while we're sitting around trying to play the game. You shouldn't be talking if you expect to win at Chubby Bunny, because I get projectile, not quite like flour vomiting, but projectile marshmallow pieces coming out. And so can also, yeah. Right. It turns into fluff once it gets into your mouth for a bit there, but also because I apparently have a very active gag reflex. So I've never gotten farther than 4.5 marshmallows, and there needs to be a trash can. I should have gotten flour, a trash can. There needs to be a trash can where I can upchuck into it, and I will not do that on camera. So if you're game for it, maybe we'll get Stephanie. Could we actually ask the boss to embarrass himself enough to do Chubby Bunny at some point? So. And there's never really a slow moment in sports, but we'll figure it out, and we'll do a Chubby Bunny World Championship, because it's video gold. I mean, as much fun as it was to do it on a radio show, so we would do it and you could hear people gagging and throwing up and me narrating. It's even better when we would share the video, because it's uproarious and it's like cheap humor, right? People throwing up and projectile vomiting marshmallows. That's cheap humor, but it's so funny, and I feel like it's nostalgic for a lot of people. So that's something else we'll do. We also plan to have guests. Okay, so coming up on our Tuesday show, we're going to try this, our first ever guest. And how will it work, Zach? So we're going to get our guests on video as well, or am I going to be talking to their photo?
I think at least for the guests I know so far this week, I think we're all going to be able to talk to them actually and see them.
Okay.
Now, there might be some situations as we go through the show where things happen and, for some reason the guests can only be on.
Oh, like your dog throwing up?
Yeah, it could be.
You've got to be
make
kidding
changes
me.
For that.
Of all the things that could happen, my very first show, my dog upchucks 4 times. Okay.
But unless I had no clue, maybe I'm just unless it was you bringing it up, we wouldn't have known. Now I know obviously.
Well, that's true. You can't.
You had to take care of her. Yeah.
But it was nasty. And the thing is, and I'm glad you couldn't hear it, but I could hear it. You know that sound? You probably know when your son is throwing up or something's going on.
I have old dogs. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay. So, and I not only could hear her, but I could tell on her face when I had turned around that something wasn't right. So if I had been really smart, I would have gotten her out of the room and said, "Hey, let's go outside." But I'm so wrapped up and nervous and engaged in this. So
I get,
yeah.
They have like an unspoken kind of bond with us too. Like Quinn, one of my dogs, will look at me and I'll be like, "Oh, okay, we need to let you out." Like I know I have a brief amount of time. So
is there any way that you think we could erase that from the internet? Probably not, right? Me frantically having to take care of Flower, but at least we'll never forget that our first show featured Flower, my adopted rescue dog, throwing up all over the studio. Okay, that was super fun. All right, so coming up on the next edition of All In with Amy Lawrence, she is a badass. She is making my new venture easier. She's also already a great friend and a sister. Our national sales manager for Media Network will join us. I'm pretty sure I asked her already, but if I didn't, I know she's watching. So now she knows. Stephanie will join us next show. And later this week, one of my most favorite guests of all time, that 30 years of doing media, he and his dog will join us. I'm quite sure his dog will not grow up during his appearance here on the show. So thank you, Flower. Mostly thank you to those of you who've made this first show a success. I haven't even looked at the numbers or the comments, but I believe that you're tuned in. Glad to have you. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Tune in on Tuesday, 11 a.m. Eastern, Mom, 10 o'clock Central. All In with Amy Lawrence on YouTube and Rogue Media Network. Boom!